junkies, and welcome to another video. I have two junk journals to show you at the start of this video because they arrived this morning. I have unboxed this one myself this morning because I had to look at it before I filmed this. I just had no control. I was a little kid. I've been waiting for this for quite some time, and I have another one that was sent to me by the lovely Paper Addiction. Michelle did a beautiful job at custom making me a junk journal, but this one is the one I have been really waiting on and really excited to sort of have and play with and sort of start documenting our Disney life. I asked a lovely binder or junk journal maker if she would be willing to trade some skills, my content and printables, in exchange for a junk journal being handmade for me, and she was more than happy. We've been friends for a very long time, so I can now finally say that the lovely lady that made my junk journal was none other than Johanna. And she is online on YouTube. Everyone who is into junk journaling knows about Johanna. Johanna Clow on YouTube. Little Bindi is her Etsy store. I'll have all links down below. And she just happened to be making a Disney themed journal, loosely Disney themed, for her own personal journal. So it just sort of was like fate. She said she would be happy to create one for me as well. And I obviously sent her a whole heap of stuff for her journal, including actual ephemera from the parks that I picked up on my last trip to Hong Kong Disneyland. I made sure I got double stuff for her. I also sent her tags and things for her journals. And I also sent a heap of Disney themed paper stuff, and she sent some other stuff back because she hasn't done a heap of actual embellishments in here, and she explained why in her postcard, and I totally understand, but I'm glad I sent so much over because it meant that she could also use a heap in her journal, which was the whole point. And I also sent her charms and key rings from trips that I have taken, and also the pressed pennies and things. I sent over a bunch of those, and told her to keep a couple for herself for her journal as well. And we had a mad idea to sort of put holes in them and turn them into charms, and her husband so kindly did that for us, because these silver ones were really hard to, the crocodile didn't go through them. It went through the bronze ones, but it wouldn't go through the silver one, so her hubby actually took to it with a drill, and that was fantastic when she told me that her hubby got through it. So I have a whole heap of charms on the side of mine. This is a mixture of her beautiful buttons and her beads, and there's a whole heap of the pressed pennies and a few key rings that I have brought home from Tokyo Disneyland and Hong Kong Disneyland. And I have like a big glittery Mickey ears, and I have a Bambi keyring that she's pulled. I told her to pull apart whatever she wanted and to put it all together, and this is the craziness, which I absolutely love. I love the sound. I've never been a girl that has things on her journals, and it may drive me absolutely insane, but I don't care because I love it so much. And this big one here, actually, with all the chunk, does detach. So if I want to have take the key ring off and have not so much on there while I'm journaling, I definitely can. She did a beautiful job, and she showed a beautiful picture. All I had seen was the front cover, because she asked me about the deer on the front, and I said yes please. And there's obviously beautiful floral fabric on the side, and it is quite a large journal. She did ask me if I wanted it to be quite big, and I said yes, because I obviously want to fill it with maps and ephemera and things like that, because I've been collecting bits and pieces from our trips, and all of our Disney related stuff is going to be going in here. So our trip to LA, even though I've journaled some of it in my US journal, I feel that I'm going to move it over into here. Hubby and I have gone to Tokyo Disneyland together, and I've got stuff from there, and then obviously we surprised the kids last last year, late last year, for 2 days in Hong Kong. So it was a really fly by the seat of our pants kind of trip. If all goes to plan and if we do our budgeting and our saving, we're also going to be taking the kids to Tokyo Disney in October this year. Fingers crossed. At the moment it's kind of in jeopardy depending on our budget, so we'll see. That's why I'm on a ban and why I've been told to just calm down after my little spender bender. So hubby showed me the budget spreadsheet of doom, but here is the beautiful journal, and it is just so lovely. I cannot wait to play in this. She said, "Dear Courtney, I'm so sorry this took me so long to put together. I loved making it for you and I cannot wait to see how you use it. I know you're going to make it amazing. I have sent back a lot of the unused things like embellishments just because I know how I journal and I know how you journal, and I think they'll be best utilized as you go. I always want my journals to be pretty bare, pretty but still bare though, to make it enough to make it your own." Sorry. So much love to you, girl. Thanks for asking me to do this. I'm gonna have to go let my small cat out because she's having a bit of a tantrum. What's wrong? She's just run up the hallway to me. What are you doing? You want to go outside? Come. No? So I'm gonna go let her out, because if I don't, you're going to hear that incessant meow for the next however long it takes me to go through this beauty and the other one. Right, she is out and happy. So there's a little tuck spot here. I haven't like looked at it heaps because obviously it arrived when the morning routine happens. So I've got all the kids, and I've obviously got an extra kid for the next week, doing a favor for my girlfriend. So it's been a bit chaotic, but I have sort of flipped through it. There are some beautiful Winnie the Pooh postcards throughout. There's a whole heap of bits and pieces, paper bags. This is something that we picked up from Hong Kong Disneyland. I've got a couple of those. They were prizes from the games that we played, where we all won a whole heap of soft toys. And when you purchased a certain amount of games, you got to pick postcards. So I sent her a heap of those, and I absolutely love these cute little bits and pieces. I still wanted it to have some sort of just neutral vintage feel to it, along with like a little bit of Disney, because I know that I do want to have still the vintage feel while still doing Disney, and I think she's captured what I asked very, very beautifully, with all the different papers and things that she's included, old patterns and things like that. And then there'll be things like little playing cards and things like that that are hidden in the pockets, which I absolutely adore. She has tea-dyed some of her double-sided scrapbooking paper. She did ask me that if I wanted it to be tea-dyed, and I said yes, definitely. I love that idea. So all the one-sided pattern paper got tea-dyed, which I absolutely love, and I've never actually considered doing that, and so I think that'll be something that I would adopt in the next time that I decide to make a junk journal, but I'm not going to need to anytime soon. So there's more of the beautiful Winnie the Pooh postcards, and I also bought a huge pack of old school Disney art sketches, like a postcard set, so this will go very nicely. This is some of the paper that I had included when I sent to her, and I love that she's done a mixture of all the different things. That was the one thing I was worried about, that it wouldn't feel as oh, that's really cute. I didn't think it would feel as I didn't want it to scream Disney, if you know what I mean. There's Alice in Wonderland. I want it to have that subtle fairy tale, whimsical, magical vibe. This is one of the guide maps that has been bound into the book. And that can obviously be sewn up and turned into a tuck spot. I gave her a couple of maps because I obviously picked up a heap of them. More postcards. I love the Winnie the Pooh ones. She also sent me some ephemera, which I will go through. I think she said she collected a whole heap of Bambi stuff. So the map is here. You can pull some of the map out. I don't think you can pull all of it out though. I think it's been quite securely bound in there, but you can pull out some of the map. But I've also got doubles of this, so I've got, if I want to have one that actually pulls right out, I can. Playing cards tucked behind here. This reminds me of Mary Poppins with the flyer kite. Not a huge fan of Lady and the Tramp, so they may very well get covered up. I love the color theme that she went with. I think she did a really good job at incorporating the Disney papers that I actually sent her, which are very bold, and I did say that I still wanted some florals in there, which she's done a really good job. Her pattern paper matching is epic. These are actually paper bags from IKEA from a Christmas set. I sent her a couple. I just absolutely adore this. This is one of the postcards I have as well. So she's used some of the postcards as tuck spots, which I think is such a cute idea. There is such a lot of room for this, for all the ephemera that you collect when you're at Disney, with like cards and things like that. I love the feel of the tea-dyed scrapbook paper. I love that so very much. Old school Disney things. She's done a really beautiful job, and I knew it would be worth the wait. I knew that she was very, very busy, and obviously she's not just a YouTuber and a maker and a binder. She's also a mum, and I know that she's had some pretty epic things happen with her kids and moving and stuff like that. So I am a very patient lady, and I told her not to stress about anything, that it's not like I need to be journaling my Disney trips this very second. I told her to take her time, and that I was very, very grateful because she doesn't take customs. It was a whim when I asked her. Like, I was kind of like, I know the answer is probably going to be no, but you never know if you don't try. When I approached her to actually bind me a Disney journal, because I wanted a journal that would last a really long time, and obviously we're not going to be hitting Disney up every day, every year. So I knew that our trips would be few and far between, and I knew that this would have a longevity to it, so that it would be super special for a really long time, because I know that obviously we won't be able to, there we go, there's a big pull out from the maps there. I just knew that this would be something that would last quite a while because it's such a large book. Part of me wants to make it my actual journal, but I can't. I knew when I was going into this that this was going to be our memory keeping for all things Disney related, and that doesn't just mean going to Disneyland. I think it should be like a family memories that are Disney themed. I think so cute. There are so many pretty parts to this. Ugh. There's so much room and space, and I love all of the things that she's included. I love how she's done everything. I love all the tuck spots. I really think she's done a beautiful job. And like she said, she likes to work bare and then add things as she goes, and I appreciate that because it means that the journal will feel like mine and not something that she's made and I just fill in with photographs. And I think she totally understood that, because I am obviously a journal keeper and I would like to have my own stamp and my own feel to it. And so she's done a really good job. That's a really cool pocket at the back. She's done a really beautiful job at keeping it very muted and very room for my own voice to be heard within the pages. So the back is just plain, and the pictures that I got of this looked very cream, and so when she said it was pink, I was like, wow, the lighting is not fab. So she did send me the pages from our journals. She sent me two. One was a misprint that I'm allowed, well, not allowed, but she said cut this one up, and I was obviously one of the contributors in her journal. In the printables one month, she approached me to do it, and in exchange she would send me a copy, and so I have a beautiful copy of her little zine, which is so pretty. And when I saw that she sent me two so that I could cut one up, I got so happy, because I was looking through it going, oh man, this would look so good cut up. Now she did send me a heap of the ephemera back, but she also included this little pack here, which I obviously didn't send to her, but she has sent me back a whole heap of little bits and pieces that she had been collecting and thought that I would like. And I actually haven't opened this yet, because so there's like little tickets and things, and some old school Bambi printables, and some Disney stuff for me to add to my stuff. Oh, that's really cool. Old school pictures, so these would be great for tucking into things and adding to the pages, which I think is very, very cool. She did say that a lot of these were like printouts, so they're just printouts of original things. So she sent me a whole heap of that sort of thing with photographs of the old movies and things like that. So there's a whole heap of really cool stuff in there. What's this thing? It's all folded up. Oh, the menu. That's cute. So that is the beautiful journal from Johanna. I will link her stuff down below. I know she does do journal stockings, and I know they're very hard to get, and they're very hard to, I understand my position is one of very blessed, because I am actually personal friends with her, and I understood that she could have said no to me when I asked her, and I would have been totally okay with that. I just thought it was a total whim. I said, hey, look, do you want to trade skills, like trade skills? And she was more than happy to. So if you see some of my printables in her video, that is why, because we did a tradesy, and I think we did, I think she did such a beautiful job. I'll try and do close-ups of the charms and things at the end of this video, so you can get a better look and sort of have a look at the binding and everything like that. But it is stunning, and like I said, this journal is going to last me such a long time, and I'm okay with that. Although I do have a heap of photographs and things for our trip, I know that this could just, oh, it's gonna be beautiful when it is finished, and I'm so grateful to Johanna for making me this beautiful book. And I've been waiting ever so patiently, even though I'm not a very patient person. But I knew when I went into this that I had told her, no pressure, make it when you can. So this is from Michelle at The Paper Addiction. I follow her on Instagram, and I also follow her YouTube channel. I'll put her links down below. I followed her for quite a long time. She's a lovely New Zealand lady, and I had been stalking her last release like crazy. I was actually in Inverell at the time, and the time that she launched her stuff, I happened to be not at home, and I was so sad. I was out playing with the kids at the park. We had promised them all day to take them to the park, and I missed the stocking, and I was so sad. And then she sent me a message and she said, because she knew that I was stalking it, because I made it very publicly clear in her Instagram post that I was stalking it, and then that I'd missed it. And I was so mad, and she sold out within minutes because her journals are beautiful. And so she contacted me and she said, if there's something that you liked from the release, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Again, I am very, very, very blessed, and I know that because I have a platform and then I have quite a big following, and I have been a supporter of hers for a long time, that getting one of these made for me with some sort of, you know, input into it is something that not everyone gets to do, and I totally understand that. So I'm going to unbox these. I have no idea. I know that these are obviously tags and things, but I was just expecting the journal, and I love this ribbon. I love this ribbon so much. So I will open up this stuff first, and I love all the old school tissue paper. So this is a bunch of tea-dyed tags, and this almost looks like the avocado dye that Siam was experimenting with, which makes everything pink, or maybe it's like a strawberry dye, strawberry tea. But there's some beautiful, she did ask me if I wanted tea-dyed things, and I said yes, or more, the more the merrier. She also made it so that the papers in here were more mixed media and watercolor paper, because that was one thing I came up against when making my own, was that I used papers that were not fabulous for working on top of, which is why I've had to be very careful. So there's a whole heap of beautifully dyed. Her tea dyeing and coffee staining is so on point. I always love all the beautiful pictures that she does with all her tea dyed things. I'll put those to the side. I'm very intrigued of what's in here though. I'm not quite sure what's in here. Oh, ephemera. Oh, nice. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Some maps. Fairfield. Oh, Liverpool. I wonder if Holsworth, is that why she sent it to me? I wonder if that was on purpose. Liverpool Showground. So this is very, very close to where I live. Liverpool is just around the corner. That is very interesting. I wonder if she did that on purpose. Some beautiful floral. Oh man, this is nice. So pretty. 1884. Oh wow, 1884. How does the paper stay so beautiful? That's what I want to know. I want to know these things. How do they stay so beautiful? Some beautiful florals. She sent pink ones. Oh, I love those too. Lilies. Oh, I wonder if she did, the name of the book is called Lilies. I wonder if she did that because my daughter's name is Lily. Moons. Hello, Mr. Twiddle. So cute. See, oh man, she's so on point. She's so on point with her ephemera. Some little floral ones here. I'm gonna have to send her a thank you package and send her a whole heap of content as a thank you, because that's what I can do, that's what I can give. And I'm pretty sure I sent her some collage sheets, the vintage ones, as a thank you for doing it, because like I said, I understand that this is a unique situation. So there is her information there, but I will have it linked below. She is lovely. Oh, this hot pink stuff here is so cool. I watched her video of all the books and I had picked all what I was looking for and which ones I was going to try and get, and then I missed out some too. Ooh, so pretty. I did ask for a more pink toned with the floral tissue paper, the Tim Holtz one, and I showed her all the ones that I loved. She was going to put something in here, and then she sent me a message and said in the fluster of getting it sent off before she went away, she actually forgot. So I've got to work out what I want to put inside here for myself. This one is all tea-dyed pages. It's more like very blank and sketchy, because it's going to have those sorts of things in it. I love this sort of stuff. And then there's some tags in the pocket in the front, and this is just a lot of really heavy paper and watercolor paper, and it's all been tea dyed and stained, which is what I asked for, and it means that I can create on here and not worry too much. There's lots of little books and tags and things. Oh, this is going to be so much fun to work in. I will probably swoop into this one once I've done my little standard. I'm actually considering making a junk journal that's all brightly colored and crazy, because I don't think I've seen too many people do that. So more my normal journal style. I've considered making like a rainbow junk journal, like a rainbow version with lots of bright colors and papers and things. So I think I might work on that as well. I want to do so many things, so little time. So as you can see, it's very all the same, which I loved, and I knew that going into it, it's not like Johanna's one with lots of pattern papers and stuff. This is something that I can have a great time sort of customizing and adding to and sewing things onto the papers and things like that. And this is going to be so lovely. I can't wait to see some pressed flowers in here. And obviously there's more sort of tags at the back, but it is all filled and blank, and I wanted that. So I wanted to show you the two different types of journals. Oh, so pretty. It is a lovely little size. I think it was the Reader's Digest. Yeah, because the Reader's Digest ones were my favorite of hers from the last stocking. They're the ones that caught my eye the most. I mean, they were all stunning, but the Reader's Digest ones just look divine with the sort of patterning and things on them and the layering. And I love the Tim Holtz floor. I actually, once I saw her release these books, I actually went and searched for the tissue paper. I think it's in here. The roll of paper from him. No, I've obviously moved it from that pouch to somewhere else, because that's how I roll. Nothing is ever where I actually put things anymore. They're always in different places. But that is the beautiful Paper Addiction one. So I am very, very, very lucky that I have two very beautiful journals that I thought I'd show you before I did a little bit of a journal with me in my stock standard one. I think it might be a more creative snippets video, because I'm also working on a few things for collage sheets, so there might be little bits and pieces sort of popping up here and there, because I have collage week coming up next Wednesday. So it'll probably be Sian found this for me, Vintage Dear, which I'm trying to decide whether I put it on the front cover of this. That's what I need to do in this video. I need to cover this because it's driving me mental that it's not covered. So that might be one of the things that I do today and work in here. Trying to work out what I want to do next in this journal. So yeah, it'll be a creative snippets video, but I thought you would enjoy looking at these two beauties before I did anything. Now I'm going to call my mum because she's been busting to see this one. So I'll give her a ring before I start filming for the day.
Standing underneath the lights, look into each other's eyes.
As collage sheets approach, I tend to start creating things for you guys, and I had the want to paint some flowers, paint some plants, I don't know whether these will make it into sheets or not, but I definitely wanted to sit down and relax a little bit and play with my watercolors. It seems that the collage sheets have been very digital heavy, although last month I did a half and half, especially with the little characters that were watercolor and digital, but it's been a while since I've actually sat down and painted a flower. When I was looking through my old Traveler's Notebook inserts, when I did that big sort of colossal flip for you guys, there was a insert that had a beautiful sunflower painted in it, and it's one of my favorite things that I did. And I remember sitting there watching it while Rowena was doing a Instagram live back when she used to do like art with me's, I guess, or do Instagram live and people would sort of create along with her. And she did a sunflower. I remember I didn't actually paint my sunflower at the same time. I think I sketched it maybe, but I wanted to just sit down and paint a sunflower. Basically, they were one of my very favorite flowers growing up. I remember us having birds, and we used to have birdseed in the garden, and I remember throwing some of the birdseed into the gardens and sunflowers would grow, and it was almost like magic. And I remember being absolutely bewildered by the fact that we had these huge tall sunflowers in our garden, and I just loved them. So I wanted to recreate a sunflower. Whether it makes it into collage sheets, I don't know. I thought these would look nice, sort of overlaid onto some tea-dyed paper, maybe. We'll see, but I haven't finished it, and I don't finish it in this video. It's still sitting on my desk in that half-finished phase, but I thought the Creative Snippets video could definitely show you some of the things that I've been working on. And I sat down and had a chat with my mum since it felt like I hadn't spoken to her in forever, and you can see there I wasn't paying attention to where my camera was, so you'll see my mum in the top left-hand corner chatting away to me as I paint some more flowers.
Standing underneath the lights, we look into each other's eyes. There's no one left but you and me. It's like a made-up place that only we can see.
Walk me in the morning sun, tell me I'm a lucky one. I'm riding on the wave of an ocean that I could be.
I'm using a mixture of Daniel Smith watercolors, and I think there's some Schmincke ones in there, and I also have some of the watercolors that I got in the stationery selection box where they're tinted black with other colors, so like greenish black, brownish black, and they remind me very much of the Gamzai Tambi. I could be wrong if they are. They're not in front of me. I'm currently filming the voiceover in a different room, but they are fabulous and one of my favorite watercolors. I also got a set of the pearlescent ones in a stationery selection box, but I haven't actually opened those, but I've gotten these ones out quite a lot, and they were great for sort of dulling down the crazy bright green that I added to some of the leaves in both the sunflower and this little flower as well. Not sure I like this one as much, but I definitely enjoyed the practice and the play, because I feel like sometimes that I'm on my iPad so much, my traditional skills are flailing, and you gotta do that muscle memory and keep practicing so that your hands get used to it. And I hadn't been doing that, and I definitely felt very rusty when painting these florals today.
Don't try to separate the ones you hate from the ones that you don't know, 'cause there's a part of you that never could let go. I'm chasing shadows around the place. It shouldn't take long now in any case, as long as there is light, pretending I could stay the
I'm not sure I picked the right color for this little guy's body with the red Posca Paints pen, but I wanted to pick up on the reds in the flowers on the border that I had, and I guess it wasn't super vintage, and maybe that's why he looks a little bit out of place, but not everything I do is going to be perfect. But I do like how he turned out. It's just probably not my favorite. I was trying to use my pink vanishing point there, and then I thought better of it because that paint was still wet, and so I grabbed a sort of brownish grey Unipin fine line. They released a few of the pens in colour, and so I think I grabbed a couple of those when I was in, I think it's a Unipin fine line. I grabbed a couple in Kinokuniya ages ago. I think I grabbed some browns and some greys because sometimes it's nice not to have really harsh colours.
Morning, guys. I'm actually not as nervous as I thought I would be because I was a ball of nerves the last few days. It is 6:49, so that means I am leaving in 2 hours. I'm gonna get dressed, maybe like brush my hair and get ready.
A little clip from the latest Very Little Peach vlog. Her studio vlogs are some of my absolute favorites. I love that she's an Aussie and she actually lives in Newtown. I love watching them. They are few and far between when she does them, or it feels like they are. I feel like I devour them whenever they come up, and I just love everything from the editing style to the music to the color palette to everything that she does. She does in such a creative way, and she is definitely someone who inspires me so very much. And it's amazing to watch her grow and watch her just do leaps and bounds in her illustration career. And I also really love her relationship with Rocket. They're adorable to watch, and I see so much of my own relationship in John within theirs. The way that he's always there to support her, her anxiety and her stress. I totally felt it all in the latest studio vlog, so I'll link that down below if you haven't seen it already.
When you come around,
I used some of the beautiful pink fabric that my paper addiction junk journal was wrapped in, and I decided to add that to my little photograph. This was actually a coloured photograph that I actually posted on Facebook recently of me and hubby at the Vivid Festival on our date night, and it's actually a very colourful photo, but I didn't think the colours suited the vintage style, so instead of making it sepia, there's Raven being a total butthead, I made it black and white so it didn't detract from everything that was around it. Now my little baby was so needy. She just did not want me working, and I tried to work around her, as you'll see, but she won in the end.
no bombards, everything is easy when you come around.
One of the things I love doing is sitting there with my journal and watching studio vlogs. They're some of my favorite things to watch, and I'm assuming you're probably doing exactly the same thing as I do. I'll try and link a few of my faves down below for you, and this is me trying very hard to move and to work around Raven. She counter moved everything that I was doing, and in the end I had to just give up, accept defeat, and give her some absolute attention and love. Even though I was patting her constantly, she really wanted my full attention.
With you around, no bombards, everything is easy.
This is basically how I ended my night, with her wrapped around my journal and me attempting to sort of add some color and some texture and tone to my little face with some of my pencils. It was as much as I could possibly do, and I'm glad that she allowed me to get that much done.
Good morning, Inkies. Yesterday I was trying to work in my journal, but I had a very clingy cat that I don't know what was wrong with her yesterday. She was very out of sorts, very whiny, very needy, and so when she sat literally on my desk space where I couldn't actually do any more work, I tried working around her for a bit, but she counteracted pretty much every move I made to try and sort of move and work around her. So this is where I got to last night with my journal cover, and obviously added my little pin and got the little guy in there. I haven't really done much else in there, obviously, because by the time I had finished trying to do this, it was time for me to start dinner and do the night homework and stuff like that. But I wanted to show you guys these two books while I was sitting here. These are the older ones of the Sabrina Ward Harrison books. Now, you know I talk about her a lot, and I love her books to use for collage, and they're really hard to get, and these two were even harder. I bought them from, I think, one from A Books and one from Thrift Books on eBay, and I think they've been discontinued, so if you're looking for them, you'll probably only find them secondhand. Although I did find new copies, but they were for like an exorbitant amount of money. I'm not sure if she'll ever re-release them. I don't know why her books have become harder and harder to get a hold of, and I don't know if she's making any new ones, but these are the two oldest, I think. And I instantly knew that they were older because the paper is, as you can see, glossy. I was a bit sad that they were glossy because I actually love the real matteness of her other books because I can work on top of them and add them as journal fodder and things, but that's okay. It's still very, very beautiful to look at and still total eye candy. I haven't actually read through these yet, so I'm not going to be cutting them up anytime soon. I always like to read them first, and there's a lot more. This is from Sark, if you remember Sark. Oh, I love her. I've got a few of her books actually. And there's a lot more journaling in these ones and a lot more drawing, as opposed to her newer ones, which is a lot less of that. And this feels more like a diary than anything else, like her other ones. And like there's a lot more of this sort of stuff, a lot more art, a lot more of her drawings, which I really enjoyed. And so I thought I'd just give you a sort of quick sort of look through the older copies of this one, because I know a lot of people have did ask for me to flip through some of the books that I got, and I knew that I would flip these because I knew you guys love her as much as I do. I just love her as an artist, and she just released a course about creating your own book. And I looked at it and I looked at it and I looked at it, and I just said to myself, I don't have the time right now to devote to actually doing it and doing it properly. And it was all about sort of creating the book that you would want to read yourself, which I love that whole idea. I loved it. So I watched the like promo video so many times, and I had my finger on the enroll button so many times, but I just literally do not have the time right now. And if I'm going to do something as important as a class like that, I want to be completely committed. And so I just was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it, even though I wanted to so badly. And maybe in the future, if she releases it as a self-study or something, or does like a round 2, maybe if I can get like a head of content for myself, I can definitely think about doing that again. But I would have to be at least a whole month ahead in Patreon to be able to sit there and do a course without worrying about deadlines and things like that. I also had my Spellbinders deadline coming up, so I was just like, no, you can't do it all. See, there's lots more of her drawings and things like that in it. Still all the beautiful color palettes, still all the ephemera and the paint and everything. I love how this looks. I love her handwriting so much. So many layers. So I'm not going to do every single page like this. I'll give you guys a look. That's really pretty. She makes me want to get out all my acrylic paints and go mental. And that's how you... Ooh, that's nice. I always take pictures of the sky and I never know what to do with them. That's really pretty. I love that. I love it all, actually. Everything she does. She reminds me a lot like myself in how I used to create and draw. Not used to, still do, but reminds me of my older self, like my more freer, less stressed, less anxious self. Such beautiful eye candy, and I can't wait to sit down and read it. I might actually sit down tonight. John's left for work early this morning and is coming home late tonight, so I'm single mummering it today and tomorrow. So this one is called Brave on the Rocks, and this one was called Spilling Open. I will try and find links, but when I looked for mine, I had a hard time trying to find them. This one is in worse for wear because these aren't new. I didn't buy new copies. I could not afford new because some of the new ones were, you know, over $100. And for me, if I was buying it to put on my shelf and to keep it, oh, like that, and to enjoy it, maybe, but because I know that this is a book that I will use for journal fodder in my journals, I wasn't paying that much money for it. The light is going in and out. It's currently playing hide and seek with the clouds. The sun is, that is. I think I need to do a lot more of where text is the center point. I think that's what I am drawn to the most, is that her writing isn't tiny and neat and, you know, in little lines. It is a focal point, and it is something that I think is totally forgotten sometimes when journaling, because I think I'm always feeling like I should be putting in the most amount of words I possibly can. But I love that she's got, you know, big bold paragraphs and that's it on the page, and I think I want to put a bit more emphasis on like larger writing or larger thoughts, because I really like that feeling, that look. I love her color palette. Her color palette has always drawn me in. The yellows, the blues, that sort of vintage pale blue color, pops of red every now and again. This is great inspiration, not only for the way that it's done, but for color combinations, for textures, for patterns. I just love how it looks. I'm just so sad it's on glossy paper. I would love to actually see these journals like in the flesh. I wish she would do a journal flip of the actual physical copies of these. That would be so cool. But it would be lovely to see what they look like in their tangible form, to see the textures and to see everything not in like a one-dimensional spread. I would perv on that hard. That's journal porn at its core. But yeah, it would be really lovely to see all these. I wonder if she works on single sheets of paper, or if she does work in an actual journal. I need to do more research. I need to single white female her for a while. If you know, let me know. But I'm still gonna go and stalk her a bit in a very nice way. I would love to see, maybe it's sketchbooks, but it's all this creamy paper, unless she, I don't know. I want to know. I mean, because there's all different textures and things. I just, maybe she makes junk journals. I don't know. I need to find out. I need to know. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love that mustard and those pink, and that's just like sample pink paint chips, which reminds me I need to get more of those because I've run out. I used all my pink ones up, so I need to do a trip to the hardware store and pick out some colors. I love that there's photography in these ones. There's not so much personal photography in her newer ones, but I still really love seeing all that. So there is the two older books from Sabrina Ward Harrison to have a look for. Like I said, if you can find some in your local thrift shops or stuff, they're beautiful books, not only just for cutting up for collage. Don't get me wrong, I love these books, and I would buy backup copies in a heartbeat if I could get them at a decent price. Sometimes I think that I shouldn't be cutting them up. I should just be having them on my bookshelves, but there's just so many good pieces of ephemera in here for my journals, and I find that I would enjoy it more that way. Although if I had the chance, I'd buy all of them to have on my shelf as a physical copy, and maybe one day I'll hit the jackpot and find them at a decent price. I'm pretty sure I paid about $20 each for the second-hand versions of these from memory, but I do know that it was very hard to track them down, and I had to